Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sketchbook Sunday episode. Today, because it is wedding season, I'm going to be showing you an idea of wedding invitations that you can send out. So basically, obviously you're not going to paint every single wedding invitation, because if you're inviting 100 or 200 people, that would take forever. But instead you can paint this once on a piece of watercolor paper, and then you can go to a print shop and have it duplicated or copied however many times you need it for however many invitations that you need. So anyways, I am going to be going for a cooler theme here, and we're just sticking with blues and greens. And essentially we're going to be creating a few roses in the corners, followed by some really nice green foliage. So these roses are really easy to create. At least I was going for roses here, but you can pretend this is whatever flower that you want it to be. Basically, as you saw me do earlier, and as you'll see me do in a moment again, I'm basically just starting with the center of the rose, and I'm creating these half moon shapes slash U's, I guess, that expand around each other, if that makes any sense. So you never want to draw or paint a perfect circle, but rather just keep doing these half moon shapes until you get to the outside, or rather you reach the size of the flower that you're hoping to achieve. And you also want to make the U shapes thicker and thicker the more that you go outwards, because the petals of roses sort of flare out a little bit more on the edges. Once that is drying, you're going to create the green foliage as you see me doing here. So basically, you want to go for a really delicate look here. So the starting and ending position of each green leaf should be really thin and delicate. And I think the easiest way to do this is to use a round brush with a really fine tip, and I've linked the exact products that I use down below in the description. This round brush that I'm using is by Grombacher. It's the size 14 round brush, and I love the versatility of it because the tip is really pointy and allows for those very, very minute details, or rather fine details, but it also can expand to create really wide leaves and other foliage. So once the first layer of your rose has dried, you can choose to darken and add details to the flower by just painting on more pigment. So I didn't really like how this turned out, so I ended up kind of going over the edges of it, but I still left the details in the center of the flower. And you can also add other foliage coming from the flower. So you saw that I added a little bluish green fern thing coming from the flower. But basically you can choose to do whatever you want here. And you're going to create the green foliage coming out from both sides. And the reason why we're doing this is because we painted the flower in the corner of the paper, because you're going to be painting your flowers in the lower left corner and the upper right corner. So this allows us to create a sort of square shape with the green leaves. So it sort of borders the paper and creates this white space in the center where you can write your wedding invitation details, or even if this is just sort of the top page or top layer of your wedding invitation, it doesn't have to have a lot of text on it. So while that bottom portion is drying, I just decided to go ahead with the second part of the wedding invitation, and I just created that exact same pattern in the top right corner of the piece of paper. Obviously you're not going to be painting this in a paint book or a sketchbook if you're painting a wedding invitation. You're going to be using a regular piece of paper, so obviously ignore that portion. But basically, yeah, you're just going to paint a second set of blue roses or flowers of any kind in the top right portion. Here I decided to go for a bunch of 3 or a set of 3 roses, just to, you know, not make it look so redundant or similar to the first one we painted. And you can also see me being a little bit more expressive with the green foliage. I'm painting even thinner and more delicate green flower petals here, and they're a little bit more connected than the first set that I painted. If you're subscribed to me and you've seen some of my other flower paintings, you know that I really enjoy painting green foliage and leaves. I just love how fluid and delicate and natural they look, and it takes really no effort, especially if you have a really good quality round brush. On that note, actually, I'm just going to ask you guys to hit the like button on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can view even more tutorials just like this one. Once you're happy with your flowers and the foliage around the flowers, you can write whatever you would write in a wedding invitation. Obviously this isn't a real one, so I'm just writing wedding invite inside the center, just so you have an idea of what it would look like if it was a real wedding invitation. And I basically penciled it in first just because I always mess up on the lettering, so it's always good to just, you know, really lightly pencil in what you want the font to look like and then go over it with a permanent marker or a fine tip pen. Now comes my favorite part. I really love adding details with black markers or fine tip pens. I think this really adds just variety to your painting, and it makes it look like it was done digitally almost. So you can choose to skip this step if this is not really the look that you're going for, but I really enjoy it. So basically you're just very lightly outlining random petals on your flower. You don't really have to be super accurate with this. The more loose that your pen strokes are, the more unique I think that the painting looks. So just be loose and creative and fun with this. If you guys enjoyed this video, even if it wasn't to paint a wedding invitation, you just generally wanted to know how to paint these blue flowers, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for future flower videos and other watercolor videos in general, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.